Learn English through stories C5. Adapted and modified by Kulwant Singh Sandhu. Contents: 1. The Apple Tree and the Farmer. 2. King Elephant and the Clever Hare. 3. Childhood. 4. The Lion and the Rat. 1. The Apple Tree and the Farmer. A farmer lives in a village. The village is near a big forest. His farm is very big. It has a big garden. There are so many plants and trees in the garden. One of the trees is an apple tree. When the farmer was a little boy, he spent much of his time playing with the apple tree. Those days the apple tree gave him nice and sweet apples. Now, the apple tree is old and has stopped bearing fruits. So the farmer is not getting any apples from the tree. He decides that the tree is useless. Therefore, he decides to cut the tree and use its wood to make some new furniture. He feels that since the tree is old and huge, he does not have to cure it. Instead, he will use it to make great furniture. He forgets that as a boy, he spent his entire childhood climbing the tree and eating its apples. Now the apple tree is home to several little animals in the neighborhood. This includes squirrels, sparrows, and a huge variety of birds and insects. When the farmer takes his axe and begins chopping the tree, all the little animals come rushing down. They all begin to plead with the farmer. They gather around the farmer and say, "Please don't cut the tree. We used to play with you when you were small, under this very tree. This is our home and we have no other place to go." The farmer is stubborn. When he raises his axe, all the creatures start to cry. "Please don't chop and destroy my home and kids," cried the squirrel. "Please don't chop and destroy my nest," cried the little birds. "Please don't cut the apple tree," cried the grasshopper. The farmer, however, forgets his childhood and his animal friends. He begins to chop the tree harder. All the little animals become desperate and want to protect the apple tree at any cost. The little animals say, "We will sing for you when you are working hard in the fields. We will look after your little boy. He will not cry, but instead will be laughing and happy. You will like our songs and will not feel tired." However, their cries for help fall on deaf ears. Despite all their requests, the farmer continues to chop down the tree. All of a sudden, he notices something shiny. On inspecting it, he realizes that it is a beehive full of honey. He takes a little and put it in his mouth. The taste of the honey wakes up the little boy in him. Suddenly, the memories of his childhood come rushing back. The honey tastes so good that he wants more. It brings a sense of happiness to him. He smiles and exclaims, "This tastes amazing." Realizing the change in the farmer's attitude, the little animals speak in unison. The bee says, "I will always provide you with sweet honey." The squirrel says, "I will share any amount of nuts that you want." The birds cry, "We will sing as many songs as you want." Finally, the farmer realizes his mistake and put down his axe. He understood that the tree is home to many lovely animals that provides him with so many things. He wants his little boy to have the childhood that he had. The farmer realized that the apple tree is not that fruitless. The little boy in him saves the apple tree. He throws away the axe and says to the little creatures, "I promise that I will never cut this tree. I have realized my mistake, and you all can now live in peace and harmony." The little creatures thank the bee a lot. If the farmer has not found the beehive, they will have been homeless by now. They continue living happily in the old apple tree. Moral: every living thing in nature is of some use. We should not destroy any living thing. 2. The King Elephant and the Clever Hare. A long time ago, the great king of elephants ruled over the forest. Once during this rule, there was a drought. It did not rain for several months. As a result, all the lakes dried up. Elephants found it very difficult to survive without water. So the elephants came to the king for help. The Elephant King said, "Please don't worry, I am your king and so, it is my duty to take care of all your needs. You will never have to live without water again. I know of a hidden lake that is always full of water. The lake is also surrounded by many good trees. Let's go there." While the elephants marched to the lake, they trampled thousands of hares that had been living there for years. Hundreds of them died and many hares were injured. The hares were very angry and worried. One day they called a meeting. A large number of hares gathered to discuss the problem. One of them said, "Elephants are so huge and heavy, we are like tiny ants to them. They will continue to trample us every day. On their way to the lake. If we don't do something quickly, we will all be killed. We have to find a way to stop them from coming to the lake. The problem is they are very thirsty, and they will never listen to our requests." One of the hares in the crowd was very small, but he was very clever. He thought for a moment and came up with a plan. He said to the other hares, "I got a plan, but I cannot openly tell you, it is a secret plan. We might have a traitor here, that is why I don't want to reveal it to you. Please leave everything to me. I am going to see the Elephant King today. See you tomorrow. Bye." In the evening she went to the Elephant King. She knew she had to be very careful. If she, for any reason, annoyed the Elephant King, he will not only kill her, but also the other hares. So the hare bowed down to the Elephant King with great respect and said, "Dear respected sir, the moon god has sent me. This lake belongs to him, and he has forbidden all of you from drinking water from it." "But where is your lord, the moon?" asked the surprised king. The hare took the Elephant King to the lake and pointed at the reflection of the moon in the lake, said, "Here he is. The moon god. Can you see him?" The Elephant King looked down at the lake and replied humbly, "Yes, I can." "Move quietly and salute him, otherwise he may get very angry and great harm could come upon you and your subjects," said the clever hare. Believing the hare, the Elephant King saluted the reflection and left quietly. The elephants never came back to the lake again, and the hares lived happily in their homes. 3. Childhood. My grandfather came to England from India at an early age. He got married to an English girl. So my dad is half Indian and half English. Once I was chatting with my dad and I asked him about his childhood. He told me the story of his childhood. He said, "I can't forget my childhood. It was great. I remember eating ice cream on hot summer days with friends. We would chat while we ate and then go to my friend's house. His house was the biggest in our neighborhood. It was massive. That house was the perfect place that had everything. The living room had big, soft sofas with a nice TV. We watched our favorite cartoons. In the back, there were so many trees. We used to play hide and seek and other games down there. And in the front yard, which was also big, we ran around. Sometimes we pretended we had guns to shoot each other with. My house wasn't as nice, but it was nice enough. Your grandmother cooked very nice food. There's nothing like your mom's cooking. It's some of the best food you'll ever eat. No 5-star meal can compare to my mom's pasta. Sometimes she cooked Indian food, lentil dal, chicken curry, lamb curry, etc. Sometimes she made us eat vegetables. Green beans and carrots were okay. But I could not eat peas at all as a kid. They were nasty. One time at dinner, I hid them in my pocket. I made sure my parents weren't looking. I got along with my mom well, but not my brothers. We fought all the time. My older brother was mean to me a lot. And a couple of our fights became physical. We never got hurt seriously, however, which is good. My younger brother sometimes got more attention than me from our parents. So I used to secretly go into his room and break his toys. It's something I'm not proud of. No one's childhood is perfect and filled with only happy memories. My dad worked very hard to support our family. By the time I woke up to get ready for school, he had already left to go to work. And when I came home from school, he would still be at his job. So I did not see him very much during the weekdays. But on Saturday morning, we watched hours of cartoons. And on Sundays, we watched football games all afternoon. My dad was a simple man who liked to watch TV. He and my mom took us, kids, on a holiday each summer. One time I remember we rented a small house in the mountains for a week. The house was a beautiful wooden cabin near a large lake. Also near the house was a resort area with lots of fun activities. There, we rode go-karts. We played at the arcades. Perhaps my favorite childhood memory has to be winter. Playing in the snow was probably the most fun I've ever had. Snowball fights with friends were great. I also loved to build snow forts. But the best part was finding the perfect place to slide. I still remember the largest hill in our neighborhood. It took 2 minutes to walk up each time, but the 15-second ride down was amazing. After playing all day in the snow, I would go inside to warm up. In front of the fireplace, I would sit and drink a nice cup of hot chocolate. Those were good times. I think it's important to remember our childhood sometimes. It can help us in times when we are extremely sad. We should remember what it is like to be happy. That's because one day we will be happy again. 4. The Lion and the Rat. A lion lived in a cave in a dense forest. It hunted and ate the animals like rabbits, deer, and bison in that forest. One day it hunted a wild buffalo as usual and ate a full stomach of its meat and was fast asleep in its cave. Then a rat living in a corner of the cave mistook the lion's body as a rock and ran and played on its back. Due to this, the lion's sleep was disturbed. It woke up and grabbed the rat. Then it looked at the rat and said, "Little rat, you have disturbed my sleep by climbing on me while I was fast asleep. Look what I am doing to you. I will put you in my mouth and chew you." The mouse trembled with fear. It held its life in its hand and looked at the lion and said, "Lion King, don't harm me. I pretended that your body was stone. Please forgive me. If you forgive me, I will help you in the time you need help." When the lion heard the mouse talking, the lion laughed loudly. It looked at the rat and said, "Rat, you are speaking funny. How can you help me with your tiny body? I'm the Lion King who looks like a mountain, and I will not need your help. Now that I'm full, I'll leave you alone. Or else I would have swallowed you." "Survive," he said, and let the rat go. The rat went and entered its place thinking that it had escaped and survived. One day the lion went hunting as usual. For a long time it couldn't find its prey. It was so tiring. It came to the middle of the forest in search of its prey. At that place, hunters had spread nets to catch animals. The lion was trapped within that net. The lion roared violently, trying hard to get out of the trap. It roared in anger again and again. This sound fell on the ears of the rat who was sleeping in its place. It immediately ran towards the lion. The rat bit the net with its sharp teeth and freed the lion. Then the lion looked at the rat and said, "Rat, I did not kill you that day when you disturbed my sleep. Then you promised to help me at the right time, and although your appearance is small, you helped me at the right time. I mocked your appearance on that day, thinking how a tiny rat could help me. But you who are so small in form have saved my life today. I will never forget your help. Thank you for your help." Both the lion and rat walked towards their place. Moral: we should not mock someone's image and think what good they can do for us. A person who is small in appearance has more talent. So be kind to everyone.